Welcome to this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. I'm your host, Lia Chang. Today, I'm at the TUTS Gala in Houston.
And when this show came along, this man has gone on to work as music director for Hadestown and MJ, the musical on Broadway. And so, to kick it off with his own brand new orchestration of a brand new Broadway overture that highlights the huge history of black music and black musicians, black artists on Broadway. My friend and colleague, and I just can't wait for this man to take the stage, Sean Mays.
My frequent collaborator, Sean Mays, enjoys an active and varied career internationally as a conductor, music director, orchestrator, arranger, composer, author, and educator across North America and Europe, with his work spanning numerous musical styles in some of the world's largest theaters and concert halls, moving between Broadway, theater, opera, classical, and pops. Sean has a new book out called Conversations in Color, exploring North American musical theater. This episode of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang features my chat with Sean, performances with André De Shields at the TUTS Gala in Houston, at the American Pops Orchestra Black Broadway concert, which aired on PBS for Black History Month, and the opening night of MANDELA at the Young Vic. Let the good times roll. Let the good times roll. Everybody get together. In my little hot seat here, the man of the hour, Sean Mays. my frequent collaborator. I'm so thrilled to finally have you on my show.
Thank you, Lia. I know, it's been a minute. We've been talking about this for a long time.
For a very long time, ever since your opening of Mandela in London last year. Let's go right into it, being the music director for a brand new musical.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really, really amazing experience. And I think, you know, I had a great time being able to I love being in and out of New York. I love New York, but I love being out of New York too, because I think great art happens everywhere.
Well,
and it was really great to get over to the Young Vic Theater, which is, of course, you know, very well known for developing new exciting stuff over there. And yeah, I can't say enough wonderful things about the piece. I love the show, and to be working with the Mandela family, as you know, they are the co-producers on the show as well. So it's a real honor. It's a really, it's a real honor to be able to have a part in retelling his life.
What I really want to talk about is your new book.
Oh yeah, Conversations in Color. Yeah, I had the idea a while back. It was really great I approached Bloomsbury, who I've published with before, and they had they gave me the go-ahead on an idea I had there was a book many years ago published called Creating Musical Theater, and it was this big interview text with a number of names in the business, and I've had it on my shelf for years. A number of people have who love theater. But one of the things that I always felt was unfortunate about it was that the book doesn't feature many artists of color. Mm-hmm. It had featured one artist of color, and so, you know, I was like, lots happened. We should have then, but like we definitely now need a text that sort of reflects that. So I was lucky. My editors at Bloomsbury, I reached out and I was like, I really want to create this, and they are like, absolutely, of course, this should exist.
That's so exciting to have a second book out, right?
Thanks. You know, I mean, the way I look at it is, I think one of the things I'm the most happy about, honestly, is that it features my voice the least, because there are so many people in it. There's 12, and again, the original book was directors and choreographers, and that was it. And this is like, I was like, I want to open this up, you know. It's like there are directors, there are choreographers,
and
there
let's
are
list
orchestrators.
A few of your 4-star creators.
It was like, I mean, Andre wrote the foreword, and then it literally is from a wide range of age and identity. You know, it's really amazing. So, like Jalen Livingston, the youngest Black director on Broadway. By Ark Lee, you know, who needs no explanation. Stafford Arima, the artistic director of Theatre Calgary. Just a wide. Shelley Williams, who's directing the Wiz, and who I worked with for Mandela in London. Jason Michael Webb, the conductor of MJ. Masia Sare, who's wrote Monsoon Wedding, you know, Alex Lacamoire, right, Hamilton and the Heights, etc. You know, I was really glad that, again, it was an honor to share such company with these folks, and just to be able to have a very, you know, the conversation was very real, you know, like people did not hold back, and it's a very colloquial text, like it reads like a cool coffee table book, but I think it's, you know, my hope is that it will really be a great book for the next generation of theater makers who will hopefully see themselves in the people in the book. Right. Yeah, and a proceed of every book sold will go to the new scholarship, the Coney Bernard Scholarship, which is through Broadway Advocacy Coalition, which is really cool. So yeah, and that will support, again, actually in money and in numbers, the next generation of theater makers, which I think is, you know, that's you know, it's important, right? These are the conversations we've been having, and it's just about chipping away at it, I think, as we each can in our own individual way.
Right.
So, yeah, that's right. I did my master's just south of the city. I worked there as a teacher a previous time when I had been there, so it was a bit of a homecoming in a sense. You know, I mean, I love it. I have a very specific connection obviously to England, being from Canada, and as a member of the Commonwealth, we kind of always, you know, even discreetly sort of love and hold on to that.
And it's very much in your back pocket.
Right? It really is, and it's like, I always tell people London is sort of an interesting combo of where like Toronto meets New York, or Canada meets New York, or the States. which is wild because that's, of course, you know, where I'm the two spots that I spend most of my time. So it's really great. You know, you get all the energy of a big city in a way that's curbed a little bit and is a little bit, you know, more British in sense, obviously more British in sensibility, and yeah, it's just I really love it, and I think again as a city, it's a great city of the world. It's a really cool place to spend some time. That's right. So I'm composer and will be the conductor for a new opera that's opening next year in Toronto. It's called A Portia Cryptic, a black opera for Portia White. And it's based on the true story of Portia White, who was a Nova Scotian. Nova Scotia is the province on the easternmost part of Canada for those of us who might not be as familiar with our Canadian geography. And it's a really cool spot because Nova Scotia was the end of the Underground Railroad. So it's got a huge history and lineage as far as black culture is concerned in Canada. And and Portia White, this singer, she was born around, you know, the early First World War time. Lived through Second World War, Great Depression, and had this really interesting career where she traveled internationally, became known on the international stage as the first black concert singer to achieve international fame. Okay. Yeah, and people called her the Canadian Marian Anderson. She performed in New York multiple times, as well as all around the world, but never really got much recognition on the Canadian end of things, and then came back and actually, you know, very sadly died at a fairly young age from cancer. So it was very interesting to you know, when the idea of the story and you know, the director and the librettist approached me about writing it. I was just like, this is a really interesting story, particularly for me because I had studied voice at a Canadian school, right? And I had never even we had never talked about her when I was there. So it's just this interesting thing, right? We're finding ways of telling stories and finding new ways into content and material that helps us to sort of recalibrate our lineage a bit, which for me especially, obviously, as a black artist is really special. So yeah, it's been great, been composing it. I'm doing the orchestrations as well. We have an orchestra of 18, and we have the world premiere next year for 3 days in June of 24.
Now, speaking of collaborators, Mr. André De Shields treasures you like nobody's business. Do you want to talk about how that collaboration started and the different projects you've been working on with him?
Yeah, I mean, André and I have been, you know, it's kind of wild thinking about all of the different types of stuff we've done together. You know, I feel like this comes up in conversations so much with folks, obviously, because people always ask me, they're like, they know that we work together, and you know, you end up having this very special bond because in order to convey and help him convey what he wants musically, you know, it's quite the combo, right? Like I have to obviously understand what he wants as a performer and as an artist, and you know,
You got me running, you got me running, you got me running.
Last December, I flew to London for the opening night of the Young Vic's world premiere of Mandela, a new musical that tells the story of Mandela, the man, and the movement behind him. I came to celebrate opening night with Sean Mays, who is the musical director and conductor for Mandela. Sean and I first worked together when he served as music director for Tony, Grammy, and Emmy-winning Death of a Salesman star André De Shields on his award-winning theatrical concert in 2021. Black by Popular Demand, a musical meditation on how not to be eaten by the Sphinx at 54 Below and at the Cabaret in Indianapolis. In December of 2021, Sean created the orchestrations, arrangements, and served as music director for Andre's series of concerts with the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. Mandela features a book by Leona Michel, music and lyrics by Greg Dean Borowski and Sean Borowski with direction by Shelley Williams. Mandela is presented in partnership with Nandi Mandela, Vuyo Mandasa, the Mandela family, Sean Hurwitz, Ronan Zekri, Greg Dean Borowski, Sean Borowski, and Brian and Dana Lee.
Viva Nelson Mandela, viva! Viva! Viva Oliver Tambo, viva! Viva! Viva Watasi Sulu, viva! Viva!
But I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who left everything that we're doing to be with us here tonight. My goodness, the cast, what do you think? They were absolutely incredible. They were amazing. When we look at their characters, we could pick up certain family members, the way they studied their characters. So a big thank you to them, because this is a precious gift, not only to our family, but to all the families that suffered during apartheid. Mandela was chosen as the face of the apartheid movement. At least somebody or many people recognize our name and our family. There are millions of South Africans. So that movie is not just about Mandela. It's about all the human suffering during the years of apartheid. It's about all the suffering of people in many parts of the world that shouldn't be happening. We should not be seeing color. One of Madiba's favorite quotations, it's going to be an indirect quotation because I'm bad with memorizing. Overcoming adversity. We all have our own human struggles at home, at work, in our communities, in our countries. And we have been taught through this musical that we can all overcome. We may not have the stature of Nelson Mandela. I share his surname, I have no illusions about having his stature. But we as human beings, we can each do our little bit in our own little corners. I know each one of us here and outside of here, we've got our own sphere of influence. Let's rally our friends, let's rally our colleagues, let's rally our communities to do what's right. There is no need for us to be hating in this time, in our environment, in our communities. We should not be having the movement Black Lives Matter in the 21st century. Hate transgress many communities. We see it in sport. There are people that are called monkeys and baboons. Why are we hating so much? There is no need to hate. I'm looking at the faces in this audience. You guys have left other important commitments to be here with us, and I want to thank each and every one of you, because I believe you guys are going to be helping us to share the message of love and hope. We would like to see what we see today at the Young Vic going to other areas, not just the theater, but permeating in each aspect of our lives. We've been working on this for so many years. They've given us our first platform to be on stage live with costumes, with lighting, with the props and everything. And again, the cast. They have studied their characters and they have been absolutely amazing. The music, the dance, it's very South African. We love rhythm. And last but not least, I think for me the fundamental message in this story, this musical, is the fact that two brothers, white South Africans, were in London. And they've done the hopping of different shows, and they had a nagging thought, why do we not have Mandela as part of these shows? White South Africans, they did not see white, they did not see black. They saw a South African story, and this is their story, this is our story, this is a story for the ages, and we need to be sharing with other communities. So if we can transcend race and see people as people, we belong to one race, and that is the human race.
Yeah.
I know I'm standing between you and fun. But in closing, I'd like to share the words of Shady when he was being interviewed by one of the magazines. She said, if you take nothing from this musical, take the fact that we can do so much more together. We have the ability to change the world. So I implore you to please, let's go out there and make this a better world. We have it in us. Thank you.
I'm so proud of my nephew, Tanganani, and you know him as Luvuyo. For me, you know, the story was it just made me so emotional, in the sense that I could see it is the first time that I see in theater what broke our family. And oftentimes when you tell stories of luminaries, the family takes a backseat. The story of my grandfather has been so distorted, specifically within family. The sacrifices that the family made, the breakdown of family that the apartheid sought to do, but they never succeeded. Amen. Because of the triumph of the human spirit. My grandfather never lost hope. If I read from the letters back from the time my dad died in 1969, he writes to my aunts and uncle and his wife, my grandmother Evelyn and Big Mommy, called Mama Winnie Big Mommy, that he hopes to see them one day, which says to me, even back in 69, he never lost the hope that they will be released. This is a person that was in prison for life. However, he never lost hope. So whatever adversity you're going through, in life, if you don't have hope, you are dead in the water. So for me, the overarching message is the message of hope, whatever you're going through. So each and every one of us here has a Mandela, a Sisulu, a Mbeki in us. Let us try to embrace those characters that mimic our own in these luminaries that are depicted specifically in this theater piece. because this theater piece is a voice for the many voiceless people. If my father is just a speck of dust in the tapestry of my grandfather's life, how many more without known families, people whom their families don't know where they are buried. So for me, well done, Kwame. Thank you so much.
Yes, to work that has sprung from your heart and from the nation that you have come from. So I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. Everyone that's worked on this, big yourself up. Great. I needed for how could I do that? Because this is one of the most beautiful, most talented spirits in the world. This is an artist, yo. I want to thank you, brother, because you made the call.
Thank you for joining me for this edition of Backstage Pass with Lia Chang. Until next time.